you guys. So I wanted to talk a little bit about thinning your starts as they come up. Usually from seed is when you need to thin, and you can see these radishes are kind of all coming up in a big bunch here. First, let me point out that I tend to grow things too close together. I know I do, but it seems to work out pretty well for me. So, whatever. So that said, this area here, obviously the radishes are too big. And what I want to point out is something that sometimes people forget. So let's say a radish will grow this big, and some of them will. So when you thin, you think, okay, I'm going to leave this one, and this radish will get about this big, so let me remove these two, right? So then that radish can grow in a circle and it should be fine. But what people forget is that when you leave this radish, it also needs to grow that big. So these radishes will still hit each other. And maybe even put some golf balls out there to look at how thin should you be thinning. So to get a good sized radish, we really need to thin the whole area in between those, right? So then we can come to this side, knowing this radish is going to get that big. Let's see, how should we thin this, right? So we leave this one and we take out the other ones. Now, if you have a choice between one that has a leaf that has a few holes in it, obviously take the one with a few holes in it out and leave the healthier ones in its place. So this is just an easy way to thin. If you're doing carrots, obviously, you wouldn't use golf balls, but depending on how big the carrots are, maybe you could use something else. I don't know, a big stick. All right. So does anybody else find it painful to do thinning? I always feel like, God, I put so much work into saving these little seeds, and now here I am pulling them out. But you gotta do what you gots to do. So anyway, that's how you thin. I probably pulled out twice as many as I've left here, but this looks pretty good to me. That one's probably a little tight, but whatever. So there you go. That's how you thin. One thing I forgot to mention is if you have the space, you can transplant what you're thinning. So if you want to like transplant them over here, go ahead and do that. You can totally do that. It will work. I'm going to grow in succession, however, so I want my radish seeds to start here, and then about 4 weeks later I'll plant them further down in the bed. But right now I've got beets planted here and spinach planted here, so I could move them, but then they would still all be the same age. So that's why I'm tossing them. But if you want to transplant them, knock yourself out. They will totally work as a transplant.